Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today I will be playing the Ticked Off Chicken. I am joined by the wonderful, the spectacular, the interesting.
Hi, I'm Fletch, and I am pulling out an Uno reverse card that I always keep in my pocket because we are both very cool and very interesting and very wonderful.
Yeah,
Um, Today I'm going to be playing my horrid little 6-year-old detective, Camille.
God.
Who is very much what you would call a problem child, yes.
We hold him soft. He himself is not a problem. He just thrives on problems.
Problems just happen wherever he goes, whether or not he wills them to.
Mm, God. So, after the events of Case of the Missing Television Part 1, which you should probably go listen to at some point, um, our heroes set off on a pretty harrowing road trip um, to Saltpier Port. However, that's a long ass distance away, so, as urgent as the matter is, they are actually they gotta stop at some point. Like, they need rest stop. So while everyone else is going into the gas station and, buying fuel and getting snacks and, arguing over, should they get burgers at the horrible burger joint, or should they wait and eat their own food? Our heroes are manning the truck. Yeah, because they do actually need to be paranoid. Because one of their family members has gone missing, and they are on their way back to get him.
Yeah, it's not paranoia if it's justified.
Hmm. So yeah, I think that our opening shot is the back seat of the truck, which has a 6-year-old and a chicken in it.
And they're kind of just sitting there, you know.
Mm, yep.
They sure do just be sitting there.
Yeah, we don't have to act out the awkward pause, but I think that it's gone on for several minutes. Um,
Yeah, Camille's probably kind of just shifted to look out the window and not focus on the chicken who may or may not be looking at him.
mm, they're probably I kind of imagine TUC is not a subtle person, so if uh Camille was watching them, he could see them ruminate in their own thoughts, um and their attention slowly shifts, I don't want to think about that, I don't want to think about that either. What else can I think about? There's a kid here. Look at the kid.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, so that definitely isn't making Camille fidgety at all. He's just sitting here. Let me. I think it would actually be funny if I rolled a deception to see how well he's playing it off.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Could
and
they roll insight?
yeah, I don't think they'd have to considering how bad he did, but you can try.
Well, there's what a one in I think a 1 in 10 chance that they get lower than that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Uh
That's a
he
24, folks.
he is trying to act natural and just, look out the window. But there's really not much out there, probably just the gas station, and you can tell from the way he's kind of every so often fidgeting or shifting around. He is aware of you staring at him, and he's just a little bit uncomfortable because why are you staring at him, chicken?
Mm. They probably don't wait too long before they sign. So, you're a detective.
And Camille does look over at that because, oh, thank goodness, finally. Uh, and just nods like, well, apprentice detective, really.
Hmm. I didn't know they started apprenticeships off this early.
Oh, the person I work with, kind of let me start this early due to some, circumstances.
Hmm. Fair enough. If you know what you want, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be working towards it.
Yeah, Camille nods at that. Like, yep,
Hmm.
so.
But you never worked with Trinity.
And he shook his head like, no, I'm more, familiar with, Victrola.
Hmm. They nod sort of approvingly. Victrola is good.
Victrola is very good. I'm glad that she kind of, um, got a handle on, what I was originally here to help her with.
Hmm. It's hard to lose family. I'm just glad she's not alone.
Yeah, he nods at that, like, yeah, she has, well, all of you. So I'm sure that's helping her through it.
Hmm. They sort of give him an assessing look, like, hmm, I'm fairly certain I know what problem she asked you to help with, but I'm glad that you're along for the ride on this one as well. We need as many people as we can on this, I think.
Yeah, he gives you another little nod, like, yeah, I mean, I couldn't exactly just leave it, you know?
I'm sorry, my internet cut off for a
Oh, you're
second.
good. He said I couldn't exactly just leave it, you know?
Mhm. You'd be surprised. But nonetheless. And they give him sort of a gruff sort of nod.
Camille,
How did you get into this?
oh, detective work?
Mm. You don't seem new, which
Oh,
is a little strange because you are very new.
well, I read a lot of mystery novels, so I guess you could say I learned a lot from those, and it, got me really passionate about being a detective and helping people. Okay,
Mm.
buddy, you didn't need to do a role like that.
Yeah, it's a nat 20 would beat that.
You wanna try? It's
Oh, why
happened
not?
once before. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess it does make sense because he is telling a. He's not telling the whole truth, but he is telling a good bit of the truth, in that he does really, really like mystery novels, and he does enjoy being a detective and helping people.
Mm. Hmm. They accept this. Um, you might get the idea that like even if you did tell like lots and lots of lies, this chicken is distracted.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm. But they sort of shuffle their feathers and they go, Camille. Camille. I know that name.
You do?
They sort of like give him a squint. Would you happen to know an individual named the Professor?
Oh, yeah, actually. We met a while back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you were the one who traumatized him about the woman who drunk a person.
Wait. Camille pauses at that. Uh,
Well, that's perhaps a strong way of characterizing it, but they sort of do a seesaw motion with their hand.
I mean, well, he asked. Was I supposed to just not let him know?
It's good info. And they like sort of wrinkle their nose because like or their beak because like she drank a person. She drank a person.
Yeah. He also kind of has a grimace on his face.
Mm. Is that why you don't want people to know you're half tune?
Oh, you, you, saw through that, did you? And he kind of, moves a hand to fiddle with his hat.
Mm. They sort of do a shrug. It mm, it's not a perfect illusion. And
Well,
also, and they sort of like spread their wings, and the light shines off the fact that some of their feathers are tuned and some are real kind. Um, I would be looking for it more than most, I think.
that is fair. Normally it's, well, aside from detectives, that is, normally it is the half-toons who notice. Well, yeah, you could say that it's a reason.
Mm. One of my daughters is also half tune, adopted. Um, she also chooses to hide it, although she is becoming braver about it. But as long as you yourself are comfortable, I don't see any reason why one choice would be better than the other.
He nods at that, like, yeah, I personally don't really have any problems with being half-toon. It's really mostly just convenience.
Mm. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's given me flack, at least not to my face. They sort of do a shrug. Maybe I'm just that charismatic. And they sort of like give him sort of a sort of a grin. Uh
Oh,
they're fucking joking. Charisma is their dumb stat. They're a very strong chicken, that's why. I'll give you that without an insight roll.
that's fair. Um, he's probably gonna joke along and go with it. Like, well, it is hard to hate a chicken.
Mm-hmm. They You can see on their face they think of something else and they sort of like they shuffle their feathers again and yep.
Uh,
I think there's another sort of pause.
that is Camille's probably gonna during the pause, unless it seems like TOC is gonna say anything else, he probably will just return to his own thoughts.
Mm. Actually, could you roll an insight on the chicken?
Of course. Alright. Okay. Well, at least with a roll like that, it's not too disgusting.
I mean, that's still a 21. Here we go. All right, let's see. They want to ask something else, but they both don't know if this is the right time and place, and they don't know if they themselves have the bandwidth for it. And they also, like, I think with an over 20 roll, I'm going to give you that, like, they don't know if this is, like, a question to ask or if they're just, like, this is a symptom of, like, what's going on and they're being paranoid.
Yeah, Camille probably hesitates for a moment before he's like, well, if you have something to ask, it's probably better to get it out now. With where we're going, I think it's probably best if we trusted each other.
Mm.
So,
Well, no, it's not that. If you're good in Victoria's book, you're good in mine. But I do have to ask if you're okay. And I don't want to patronize you. And I know that the age of independence is very, very low for toons. But you were able to drop everything uh at the drop of a hat to help out on this. That speaks to me of someone with not a lot of connections. And honestly, you're half toon. It might just be your design. I don't actually know how old you are, but you look very young, and I am very old. So I hope you can excuse a little bit of concern.
no, you're alright. I'm used to it. I am 6, so that
Mm.
does tend to make people a little concerned. So it's not that I don't have people who care about me. It's I have a tendency to get wrapped up in situations, and with Toontown being the way it is, I it's usually best to go prepared.
You, it shouldn't be like that. It's not your responsibility to solve the world's problems. That's honestly, you seem the most fine out of all of us. However, it I can't imagine it's not a strain to feel like that's on your shoulders. Problem after problem after problem.
Well, um, how about this? I'll let you know if it's something that I can't handle. Um, but for now, I'm probably doing pretty alright when compared to the rest of the party.
Mm. May I roll an insight check?
Sure.
11.
Uh, yeah, he does genuinely seem fine. He is not trying to hide that. Uh, there might be a little more to the story, but you can't really uh tell right now.
Mm. They look at him like, interesting way of characterizing what they said for the current situation and not, general life. But they're very tired.
Has been
And
a
they go,
tiring day.
mm. I think they don't necessarily share it, but they think back to their girl and they think back to the reasons why their story sort of started in the first place. They wanted to be an adequate family member, someone who could protect her. Um, and they just really hope this kid's okay. They just really hope that whoever his adults are, they're doing their jobs.
I simply give you a smile.
Mm.
uh,
Okay. I think after a while they go, so is the jumping out of windows a route? Did the jumping out of windows come before or after the feather fall?
um, no, I could probably ask you the same thing, but uh, he does give you a look. I don't think you have Featherfall.
I do not. I do, however, have lots and lots of hit points.
I uh usually had Featherfall prepared before I got an item for it.
Mm. God, the chicken is trying to give like their TUC is looking for any question that's not like usually.
uh I look away from the first Phantom L heist in which I didn't know artificers could prepare spells, so he didn't have it prepared that day. Um,
Oh my
it's
God.
fine. Yeah, he's just a little bit feral.
You know what? Game recognizes game. TUC is also a little bit feral.
Yeah, they did both jump out of a window together.
Mm.
There's no hiding how feral they are.
Think of it like they go if when you meet Trinity, I think that the two of you will get along. He is mild mannered, but hidden depths, that one.
And he nods at that, like, yeah, I hope we can get him back soon.
Mm.
Are you doing all right?
No, but I'm doing well enough. I I've lost people before for a long time, and some of them are not coming back. But this time is different because partially of people like you. And they give him sort of a kind look.
No. Camille does give them a smile back, like, well, I do my best. Um, I am a detective after all.
Mm. You
And
mentioned a master for
oh,
your detective apprenticeship.
yes. Here, let me. And he reaches into his pocket and does not fumble. As he pulls out a little business card for Moria's detective agency.
Mm.
And he hands it over to TOC.
Mm. They look at it and they sort of give him sort of a breast nod. I think this is the first time they've come into contact with Moria's detective agency. I think. Someone come, poke me if that's not true. But for now, it's true.
Yeah. And I give a little salute. Hello.
Hi. They. Sorry.
No,
Where
you're
did I leave?
good.
Oh, they tuck the business card into their hammer space and they go, well, I seem to be collecting detectives. We have two in the family and now you.
Two?
Mm. Well, there's Trinity and then there's uh William Wilfred Wallflower. He is a crow and also a little bit of a bitch. But perhaps all the best detectives are.
Just roll a few things. Okay, so we are going to bully him about that. Cool. Uh, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
Fun fact about Camille, he may or may not have a thing about crows. Um, yeah, so
oh,
he kind of hides a flinch at that and is just like, oh, well, that, doesn't, they don't sound familiar.
24.
Yeah, it's not that he's, um, it's not like it set anything big off. It's more that, yeah, this kid kind of sort of has a fear of crows. Uh, and he usually is a bit better at hiding that. But he's had a very long day and it is very late.
Mm. TUC sort of glance down at their own black feathers and up at him. They sort of reshuffle themselves and they go, he is kind. I don't think they're going to address it directly, but they're sort of giving him sort of this like a, a, a parental look. You're getting a parental look.
uh, yeah, Camille is just gonna act like normal. He doesn't know what you're talking about, as he just nods like, I'm sure that he is.
Mm, man.
And indeed.
Gosh. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
I think there's
And
probably another long pause. Oh,
yeah, yeah, Camille's probably gonna change the subject after it seems like there's not much else to say on that matter. And he's just, so, how did you meet the professor?
well, he was looking for the library dungeon. Um, and I sort of got roped into it one way or the other. Um, so we just sort of wandered around the library and harassed some people. Um, before we decided to just spend the rest of the afternoon reading together. Nothing particularly interesting.
Yeah, that, that's a pretty normal meeting for, Toontown.
Mm. Although, I don't know. It seems like once you've met someone, they have an interesting habit of picking up bits and pieces. So our meetings have become steadily more and more interesting.
Oh?
Well, I'm looking for someone, and the professor has a surprising amount of leads on them. I don't know. It's strange to me.
I suppose that would be fair. I mean, on one hand, Professor is the type of person who seems to get around and know a lot of people. On the other, uh, yeah, um, if you are looking for someone, I mean, I'm not really, as well equipped as a professor might be, but I can try and keep an eye out for them.
Well, I can't give you much definitive information, but they were they were the one who sort of started me off um, on becoming a tune. The reason why she didn't do anything directly except be kind. But I can't give you a name, but when I knew her, she was a little toon girl with curly black hair, flowers in her dress, a proficiency for necromancy. Um, and she might be connected to someone the professor knows, a, a Professor Pete Moss. But the nature of the connection is difficult to parse. There is, and they sigh, time shenanigans.
Ah, he nods. Yeah, time shenanigans do tend to, make things unnecessarily complicated. Um, and let's see. Okay. Cool. He does manage to pull out his notebook and quickly jots down some of the stuff that you said.
Mm,
And if you want to, you can roll insight on him.
sure. Actually, and would you like to roll history?
Sure.
It's a
Okay.
dirty 20 for insight.
Yeah, even though he says time shenanigans like that, you get the feeling he hasn't personally dealt with any of that. Um, More like this kid has read a lot of books and knows the tropes, and
Mm-hmm.
for toons often that is close enough. Uh, and like the closest he's ever gotten is interacting with the professor, who he might have sort of lost a bet because of meeting a time traveler, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, okay, well, that wasn't the best roll, but he does have a horrible little modifier.
Mm-hmm. It's a horrible little modifier plus 10.
Yeah.
God, imagine having a character with plus 10 looks away from TAC's perception. Anyways, they. Camille knows the name Pete Moss at least. That was a professor
Oh, wait,
who.
that's a history roll. Sorry, brain bleh.
Uh-huh.
That's his history mod's only a +4.
Only a plus 4. Okay.
Yeah, so that
With
would
an
change it
11,
to an 11.
with an 11, you know the name. It's there's something about she got kicked out of a university for plagiarism maybe, and there
Hmm.
was like a bunch of drama and like a lot of accusations got thrown around. Like she kind of kicked up a fuss on her way out. Um so that's I think probably the gist of what he knows already.
Mm-hmm. And he gives a little nod at that, like, well, I do think this Professor Pete Moss person, that's a lot of P's, is someone that I can look into, at least.
There's no harm in looking. I have been for months for both of them, for my girl and now for the professor. That's very confusing, by the way. Do you think he ever makes people confused? Well, more than they already are when they talk to him.
Well, when I first met him, I do think I might have contributed to a running gag. Uh,
Mm.
'Cause I might have asked him Professor of what. Seems like he gets that a lot.
Mm. I mean, when you tell people you're a professor, I think it sort of begs the question. If he didn't want to ask, he'd just say, the professor, no name.
Well, considering where we are, people might actually think he's Professor No Name.
Mm. You know what? Given the power of true names, I don't hate the idea of people mistaking his name. He can do whatever he likes, but
That is true.
or even professor, just the professor.
That would be a good way of reducing confusion, but
Let's
oh,
be honest, he will never do anything uh to reduce confusion around himself. He
oh,
he enjoys
absolutely
it.
not. No. I guess when you're a time traveling alien, you have to get your kick somewhere.
I feel like that in and of itself is a kick, but
Oh yeah, I
they
owe
do.
someone like 10 gold because of that.
Oh, really?
He nods, like, it'll be a while before I can get it to that person, but uh, I am going to be in for quite the I told you so.
Hmm. You just have to make the last one that, or the next I told you so you get on them particularly juicy.
You know what? I'll do my best.
The chicken is enabling the child.
Good. Enable him.
Man. I feel like there's yet another like long silence.
Probably a little less awkward this time.
Mm,
At least hopefully a little less awkward.
yeah. This is a relationship that can be measured in how awkward the silences are.
Yeah.
I think that eventually TSC goes. So we are heading on a ship full of villains. Any ones that might know you?
And he does pause to think, for he shakes his head like, no, I don't believe so.
Mm,
I mean, yes, I am a detective, but the cases I usually involve myself in don't tend to have big shady organizations behind them.
mm. Unless they're too shady for even you to notice.
uh, there's a difference between having a murderer confess to and a wait. Camille pauses because he probably shouldn't have said that.
Mm. I think TOC goes, no, I know. I'm sure that not everyone that you work with is evil Walmart, but
He does relax a bit at that because people usually tend to have a reaction when they find out that he deals with murders.
mm, I think that's when they say, so homicides, huh?
And there it is.
Mm.
Yeah, I.
Are you going to tell me that it's fine and you can take care of yourself?
Well, I mean, I haven't died yet, have I?
Well, you're ahead of the curve there. Feel free to roll an insight to see if TOC is joking or not.
Uh, okay. Well, he got bullied.
Oh,
That's a 13, because he rolled a
13.
3.
Mm, they're both joking and not. You don't necessarily know how that works with what they just said, but they're doing like a dark humor thing.
That's fair. And he kind of nods at that, like, but yeah, it's not exactly something I can control.
Mm.
Uh, that's part of why I'm an apprentice detective despite being 6.
Mm. There's no avoiding it.
Uh, no, it usually if I don't encounter anything for a while, that means that there's something a lot bigger on the horizon.
They look a little bit sad. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to deal with that. It should be your choice.
Well, I don't mind helping people at least.
And I think that's to your credit. But I don't know. There's something very upsetting about being forced to deal with that. Forced to take that on in an emotional sense. I'm sorry. I'm not your parent, but I hope you will come to us after this if you need anything. You are as good as family.
Hey. Oh, Camille, you failed step 1 once again.
God,
It's fine. It's fine. He's dealing with it. He's
can we
dealing
roll
with it.
insight?
Yeah. Right after I rolled deception.
Let's see here.
God.
He's beat it.
Okay. He is uh a little bit let's say uncomfortable with getting called as good as family. Um, I
Mm,
I think I could give more, but I don't want to accidentally break the timeline here.
mm. How about this? I think that when he looks over again, TOC is just watching, just like this gentle sort of like, mm,
Yeah, I will say, probably there's also a little bit of guilt there.
mm. They don't say anything. Just sort of like, after a while, they go, regardless, as long as you are not alone.
You,
And um without an insight, I think that you get this is a very patient chicken. They're not going to press, they're not going to force you.
I hold this chicken so soft. I hope you know that.
To be fair, they are very fluffy. Anyways,
They are.
fluffy old Grand Red.
Yeah, Camille nods at that, like, yeah, don't worry. I do have people. I'm
Good.
very glad that actually, very glad that I gave them a message before I went off to Toontown, considering how things went.
Do they know that you're now on a road trip?
I did give them a heads up that a plot probably happened if I'm not back for a few days.
Ah, Reassuring.
Well, you know how much things happen in Toontown.
I do. And if my daughter left me that note, I would probably not panic.
That feels like sarcasm.
It was. Let me rephrase. I would trust her to keep her own decisions and keep herself safe, but I would worry every step of the way.
I suppose that's fair. So,
Regardless. Oh,
oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
no, you can go.
Honestly, I think TOC just sort of subsides, sort of giving him sort of a watchful look still.
That is fair. They
Mm,
both sure do have secrets.
I don't
uh,
know what you're talking about. They are definitely what they seem.
Definitely. Just an ordinary chicken and an ordinary boy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a chicken. Definitely a boy.
Definitely.
Man.
After a bit, Camille, he probably looks back over at you like, um, you think Juniper's gonna be alright? I mean, you know her better than I do.
Their whole self softens when he says Juniper's name. And they look down. She's she's tough. She's been through it. She's tougher than me. I have faith that whatever happens, she will be on the other side of it, but that doesn't mean that it will be fun.
He nods like, I know she's tough. What I'm worried about is that she's going to be too tough and do something that she'll regret later.
Yeah.
There are some things that you can't take back. And if you want to, you can roll an insight.
Oh, sure. 15.
Alright. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, so, you know this kid's a homicide detective. It's pretty easy to put two and two together to figure out what he's worried about. That is, he is worried that Juniper is going to go a bit too apeshit and kill someone.
Mm. They they open their beak, they tilt their head like, huh. Well, I will say this much. I have met no one kinder, and I know quite a lot of people. She was the one who gave me a home, who gave me space and what I needed to understand the person I was becoming. I don't think I could be afraid of Juniper Pebble if I tried, but oh, I don't think that she has reservations about being particularly unpleasant. I think she might be perhaps very nasty in the days to come. But unless she is truly, truly pushed, I don't think she's going to kill anyone. Not least because I won't let her. She deserves better than that.
He relaxes at that. Um, it actually looks a bit like some earlier tension was drained away too, as he's just that's good. Um,
Mm.
it would be a little bit awkward if considering what kind of detective I am.
Mm. It's always awkward when you have to arrest someone who's on the same investigation. I don't know the right term.
He nods at that.
So like I don't know if you've already rolled this insight, but when they talk about Juniper, there's a softness there that is he might pick up on.
Let me roll insight then. Okay. Hooray for stupid insight mods.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this chicken's got a crush. Like it's they already talk about her like she's their best friend, but there's a softness to them. There's they just love Juniper a lot.
Oh. Yeah, I think after a moment, Camille does give them a smile, like, I think you two would make a good couple. The things you can get away with saying as a kid.
God, what fucking wisdom save is? I guess that's a wisdom save. It's some
Yeah.
sort of saving throw. 13. They visibly twitch and they go, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to roll in deception. Their expression is just the stressed Kermit face. You know the one.
Aw. He just starts like, well, I am a detective, but, if you say I'm wrong, then I won't fight you on it.
Mm. They're giving him a look. They're giving him the it's like with a 13. I think it's playful, but they're giving him the you little shit.
And he does indeed have a little shit grin on his face.
Mm. They just reach over and they swat the top of his hat. Like it's a very gentle like yeah, but like they're just like yes, you.
Let me just. Let me. Yeah, I think that does fall under the prerequisites. As you swat the top of his hat, he does let out a surprised little squeak before he readjusts the hat.
Mm. They look over. Was that you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you don't. They both just they also have a shit eating expression on their face. Bastard to bastard communication.
Bastard to bastard communication. Uh, I didn't make any noise, just like you don't have a crush on a Juniper.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
God. TUC is just like, we never speak of this again.
Agreed.
Mutually assured destruction.
Absolutely. Uh, Now's not exactly the best time for a confession anyways.
Mm. They the hint of mirth that had sort of come into their expression drops. They go, no, it's not.
And he nods like, well, get out of it.
I know. Things will be alright in the end. One way or the other.
And he does give another nod at that, like, but I do hope for Victrola's sake that it's not the other.
Honestly, even if Trini does die, I will personally uh break into the afterlife and get him back.
uh, well,
Roll an insight.
alright. That's a 24.
It's a 24.
Oh no! I guess Arthur got sent to the afterlife too. Hi!
Hi. Well, where did I leave off?
You said with a 24 and then, got cut out.
Mm. With a 24, this chicken is joking less than they should be. Like they're not 100% serious. They're also not 100% not. Um,
Yeah,
but I'll I'll say with a 24, they also have a comfort with the idea of death and dying that's different from yours. Like not as if they're used to people dying around them, and more as if they're the idea of coming back from dying is yeah, that doesn't seem far-fetched to them at all.
that is fair. And he does blink at that, like, wait, is that something you can, like, actually do?
Oh well, I'm sure I'd figure it out. I was sort of yoinked back. I didn't do the yoinking, but um you know and they sort of do a shrug.
I suppose that is fair, yes.
Mm.
Well, if you do find some secret, cheap back door to, yoinking people out of the afterlife, just let me know.
Mm. Trust me, you'll be one of the first. think they just sort of take a moment to think of their sisters.
And there's also someone that Camille is thinking about.
Mm. It can, like, in much the same way that this conversation has just been like recognizing like in different ways. I think without maybe an insight, they like look over and recognize that expression and then look back down like, oh, cool.
I do jazz hands. Congrats, this child has known loss and not the funny comic.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
do jazz hands back.
we are both jazz handings at each other.
Horrible, horrible jazz hands.
Yep, it's
Man.
fine. Sometimes making fun little jokes is how you cope.
Mm, man. God, I don't know quite where to put it. I think that like maybe this is the silence that we sort of like pan out on.
Yeah, I think that's probably good. They had a good talk. Uh,
Yeah. On that incredibly cheerful note, but I think that compared to the first um compared to the first um silence, it's much calmer. It's they're a little bit more at peace with each other,
yeah,
if
they're
not
like,
themselves.
yeah, like, okay, this is someone that I can trust to some degree.
Mhm. Yeah. God.
Things probably
There.
do delve back into uh, the regular once everyone's back with the snacks and the like.
Yeah. Actually, could as a closer, could I get a perception from you?
Sure, that's another one of my horrible little modifiers.
Hmm. You don't notice anything.
Oh boy.
Anyways,
That's fun.
but I'll say for the audience, like it's as the others arrive with snacks and it's now TSC and Camille's turn to go in and use the restroom and freshen up. Um, there's a figure who had been watching the truck, who just sort of like tilts their head and just sort of walks away into the distance. No vehicle, just along the side of the road.
Oh, that's ominous. That's fun.
Hmm. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for having me, author. Uh,
Thank you for joining me. This was a delight.
it was indeed a delight. Camille once again failed step one, but one hasn't he?
I mean, I look at the chicken. This is what they do, fam.
This is what they do. But yeah,
God.
we'll see you all
Tune in.
next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.